Hey everyone, welcome back to the realm. I'm Gina.
I'm Rich.
I'm Jenny.
I'm Rob.
I'm Amy.
I'm Brian.
And we are here with our Scaretober October specials, where we bring you 2 episodes a week, just so we can fill it full of all the spooky things that we love. So what I would like to do is take some time to tell you a little bit about this episode. We're going to be talking about demons today. And so I want to introduce our guest. I'm going to give a proper intro for her. So today we have with us June Lundgren. She is a psychic medium, a demon seer, a healer, an animal communicator, international author, and a nurse. She's descended from a long line of women with psychic and spiritual gifts. Raised by her maternal grandmother, she communicated with spirits, animals, and angels. She's called a demon seer because she can see, hear, and communicate and can remove negative entities. She's been helping people with their paranormal problems and animal issues most of her life. She is a paranormal investigator and a consultant specializing in negative identification and removal. She is a specialist on warrior angels. Her first book, A Medium's Guide to the Paranormal, was released in 2009. And since then, she has written 8 more books, and we will make sure that we list all of those books. But some are Dark Side of the Paranormal, there's Paranormal Encounters, there's Demon Seekers, and she has her new book, Dark Encounters, that was just released in June of 2024. But I will list every single one of those books for you guys whenever this episode goes out so that you can see everything that she has available. She has appeared on such shows as Coast to Coast AM, Midnight in the Desert, Ground Zero, and America's Most Haunted. She's also been on the Paranormal Podcast with Jim Harold and the Unexplained Files with Howard Hughes. She's also made television appearances on Ghost Adventures, Graveyard of the Pacific, and the Norblad Hostel. She is the founder of Ghost and Girls Paranormal, specializing in negative entity removals. She was also, she served in the military. Thank you so much for your service, June. And she was trained as a nurse and EMT. After returning from the military, she continued to work in the medical field as a nurse and continued with her special abilities. So we are here today with June. June, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's so good to have you here. I know you and I have had a chance to speak before, where you've told me your entire story. And we are going to be releasing that story as bonus content, as a companion to this, because the topic matter today is demons, but I want everybody to hear your story. And you were so kind to share that with me in its entirety. And it is really just it's just an incredible thing to listen to. I always, whenever we talk about demons and things like that, or hear people's stories such as yours, there can be a lot of people that can have, you've heard people say a lot of different things, and we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And, but at the end of the day, there are some people that believe in the Bible and they believe in Jesus, they believe in God, and even the Bible talks about demons. So if we are to believe in the miracles that have happened in the Bible and the fact that has been talked about in the Bible, then what would be difficult to believe about this? And so that's why we come to you with an open mind to kind of get your take on demons. But I wanted to take just a minute to kind of define demons. So I looked up a couple of definitions. So when we're looking this up, they say demon is an evil spirit, which could be angels or demons, but I mean, we don't think of angels as evil spirits, or a source or agent of evil, harm, distress, or ruin. But there's different meanings in different cultures for demons. I mean,
Oh
even in
yeah.
the Bible, there's different things. One of the things that I found interesting in doing research is that Socrates had, Socrates, who was well beloved for his works, actually had said that he communicated with demon, but in his culture, the demon meant something different.
Different. Yeah.
It's actually meant, what was the word that I was looking for? Oh, a divine something is what the term daemon, it was actually daemon that it referred to.
Yeah.
And he had said that he had visits from these demons and that they warned him often about like making mistakes to try to prevent him from making mistakes, but they never told him what to do. Where
Mhm.
demons, as we understand them, based on how society and movies and TV and everything has taught us, is that these demons do tell us what to do, or they control us either subliminally, subconsciously, or however they attach themselves to us and kind of send us down whatever roads of mistakes that we make. So we've seen demons in many different portrayed in many different ways in movies, books, shows, especially paranormal TV shows. You'll
Oh
see
yeah.
a lot. You were on Zach Bagans' show and you
Yeah.
went when there was a dark entity in the basement. I remember seeing that episode. So when you and I had first, I've seen that episode a couple times. When you and I first met and started speaking, I was like, oh my gosh, I just literally watched the episode that you were on. So it was very serendipitous when we finally got a chance to meet. Um, but we have such this wide array of description of demons. And team, if you want to like comment in on anything that I left out about demons, but Brian had actually even mentioned the other day, had brought to memory where people have used demons in pleading in court. Like they'll plead like they were under the direction of demons, or we have the Amityville story, the Amityville horror house story, and many different things like that. In fact, we've done Weird Weekly News segments and we've talked about ghost spirits and entities in the past. And we've even had an episode in that Ghost Spirit and Entities. It was like 3 episodes. And we interviewed our very own team member, Rob, Chaos Monger, there on the screen, based on an influence that had happened when we were on an investigation that we just couldn't explain.
Hmm.
So, June, I'm really interested, based on kind of all of that I just laid out. And if the team has anything else, they can throw it in there about demons. First of all, I'll ask you, do you guys have anything else you wanted to add with regards to demons before I ask her to kind of define? Okay. So what my big ask of you is to tell us your take on demons, what you know about demons, and how that differs from basically all the things I just brought up, if it does differ.
As well, demons, I've been dealing with them all my life. When I was, until the time I was 4.5, I saw them as most humans do, a black mass or, a puff of smoke or, a shadow person, what have you. But at 4.5, my vision changed and how I see them. And I actually see them as in their true form, which is quite different than, Hollywood and everything like that. But, demons really they're about 7 feet tall. They have a 12-foot wingspan. And archangels are the same, same thing like that. But whereas archangels or angels have distinguishable features that demons do not. They do not have, quote unquote, they don't have any hair. They don't have a mouth. They have what passes for a nose, which is almost non existent. But it's the eyes that truly are the window to the soul, so to speak. The old demons and the ancient demons and Lucifer, they have like gold colored eyes. Like if you look into a fire and it's gold, that's the color of eyes that they have. And the lesser demons, which are the younger ones, and the minions, they all have red eyes. But the thing that distinguishes them is if you look into the eyes, you will see every atrocity you could ever imagine and multiply that a millionfold. I mean, it's evil incarnate. There is no other word for it. And once you do see them, you'll never be the same because it's something you'll never forget. Demons are, people think that demons are out for, to ruin people, and they are, but, they have a hierarchy. Lucifer is the head, and there are the ancient demons who've been around a long time. And then there are the old demons, and they're the wisest, strongest ones. And the lesser demons, well, I liken them to, hormonal teenagers. They like to create chaos. They're the ones you're going to find in the physical world more often than not. And then there are the minions, which are, the shadow people, creepy crawly dudes. As they used to call them imps. You know, um, the incubus and succubus and harpies. That's their hierarchy, and they all answer to Lucifer. And but there is that respect between the archangels and Lucifer and his first, second, and third in command. For all the drama between the two, the dark and the light, there is that respect there. Believe it or not, you wouldn't think so, but there are angels. Well, you stop and think about it. They're fallen angels anyway. Demons are fallen angels. So, Lucifer's name means the shining one. At one time, we were all of one. And what happened was we had physical lives billions of years ago. And we evolved to the point of pure energy. And once we evolved, we decided as a group that we were going to travel, the universes and see everything that could be seen, learn everything. So we watched stars and planets being born. We watched civilizations being created. And we did this for hundreds of thousands of years. And it got to the point where a lot of the angels said, you know what? We're tired of this. We want to be physical. We want to have children. We want to know love. And Lucifer and his followers said, no, that's not what we want. We do not want to be subject to a shell. We don't want to be subject to growing old, disease, any of that, and death. So that's what started the war between heaven and hell. But technically, it wasn't hell at that time. But in the end, Lucifer was disarmed by Michael, and Ariel disarmed his son. And God said, you know what? You can't live among us. You're going to pull the same thing all over again. So he opened up a rift into a dark realm, and he put them inside of it and said, here's your domain. This is where you will rule now, he told Lucifer. And he sealed the rift. And so at first they were fine with it. They were happy because they're like, we're not going to have to deal with that. We don't have to be physical. This is my kingdom now. I can do whatever the heck I want to do. But as time went by and the thousands of years went by, they became angry. They became vengeful, and their whole goal was, because when we're in physical bodies, we're the most vulnerable. So when they create dark portals, which are doorways into our realm of existence, and that they're all about, making your life a living hell. That's how they work.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned something about eyes, because if we think about it, team, if we look back at different episodes, or when people give us descriptions when they think about demons, or even it's portrayed in the movies or whatever, you do hear about dark shadow figures and eyes. You never
Hmm.
really hear there being like any kind of other
Features.
just
Yeah.
descriptive features.
Yeah. Just,
And the other thing that I, when doing some reading and research, was that when demons were formed, they're not omniscient. What, they don't know everything, but they
no.
know a lot about maybe one or two types of things.
No, they know a lot about a lot of things. That's a
Okay.
misnomer. That's a misnomer.
Okay.
Demons know your future,
Okay.
just as the angels know your future. And people think they don't know, but they know. They know, especially if someone is born and this person's destiny is to be a light worker, someone who brings a lot of light, a lot of God's word into the physical world. They will try to stop that individual from attaining its goal, its mission. Like me, they could have caused problems with me when I was young, and in some ways they did. Um, I was like, I was not a planned or wanted child, and I was dumped off on my grandmother, my maternal grandmother and grandfather who raised me. But my mother had turned her back on God, so she was not a really good person. But you have to overcome all that, and you can't let that ruin your life. You have to move beyond that. But they will, if they sense or see that the human has an angelic soul, they will try to suppress that warrior angel that's within that person, or the archangel who's within the person, and make their life a living hell so that the angel never comes forward. Because if the angel comes forward, it's more powerful, and it can do harm to them. It's just like when I died and went to the other side, and my grandparents were there waiting for me. I was riding my motorcycle and somebody ran a red light and hit me. Darn it, ruined my bike. But I went to the other side and Michael was there, and he says, You're here because you need to understand who and what you are.
Right.
He says, you understand that you are different, that you can do things other people cannot. He says, but who you truly are, is your body was created to hold the soul of Ariel, the archangel. She's a demon slayer, and she has been sent back to live mortal lives to learn how to be compassionate. She had no compassion for mankind. He said, this is your job. You're going to start, helping mankind with demonics. You're going to have to start removing them, killing them, helping mankind. And I'm like, wow, you couldn't give me an airy fairy job. You got to give me the nasty stuff. I,
Well,
I told I told Michael, I said, I guess somebody's got to take out the trash, whatever.
well, yeah, I mean, I think all of us have to do that at some point. And but I mean, so for those that, whenever you listen to the bonus episode, you'll hear more about this story. Essentially, June, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were in this accident and you were clinically dead for 3 minutes.
Yeah,
And during that time is when it seemed like a lifetime full of a story was revealed to you. And
yeah,
that's kind of when you came back and kind of knew what your calling was, and you moved forward in this path, even though you had done some of the work prior.
yeah.
But my biggest question is, what is the point then? Like, why do demons want to affect people? And what is your take on how demons are portrayed in the movies? And what your feelings are on people that use possession as a defense in criminal cases.
No, that's a lot there.
I
Uh,
know.
well, the movie stuff, it's like, it's ridiculous. It's like, really? I don't even watch that stuff because it's like, it's nothing like what it truly is. And I guess that's the part that bothers me the most. Although, people think that demons can't hurt you, they just haunt you. But the reason they bother us is because we are the most vulnerable. And if they can make our life a living hell, it's payback for them being relegated to
Mm.
the dark realm and not be able to be free and do whatever they want, wherever they want.
So they're pissed
They,
off at us
yeah,
and
they're
everything.
pissed. And, because they can never go back to the light unless they're truly repentant. And it's a case by case situation there. But the movies, they haven't a clue. If they had somebody there who'd actually dealt with demons on a regular basis, it would be different, but most people have an encounter or, something like that. They'll either, they'll be on an investigation, they'll see a dark entity, or they'll get bad feeling about something being there. And that's usually the extent of it. There are a lot of possession cases. I mean, I will grant you that. But the misconception is that you get a demon and it possesses you. It's 24/7, 365 days a year, and that's the way it is. But that's not true because they do not want to be in a shell for any length of time. So if you have a case where there's more than one demon in possession, so to speak, then it can be 24/7 because one will come, one will go. That's how they work. I had a lady who had 11 demons in her. And it's like, I'm like, okay, I'll come help. You get down to the last one, and after it took me 3 hours to get back to the last one, and it wasn't coming out. And I knew that to rip the demon out of the woman would harm the woman. So, you just don't do that. And so I told it, I said, if you really want to go back to the light, I said, you can go back to the light. I said, but you have to be repentant for what you've done. And it questioned, it said, can I really go back? I said, yes. And I said, Jesus, come forth. And suddenly, between my two friends who were in front of me, this arm stretched out. It was pure white light arm. And I told her, I said, take the arm. I said, that's Jesus. He'll take you home. And then the demon said, no, 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 you're lying. You're lying. And I'm like, so be it. So Jesus retracted his hand, and I can reach into the demon's mind so I can see why it's there, how it got there, and the reasons behind it. So I knew that it was hiding out from Lucifer because it had been given a job to do, and it just blew him off and said, I'm not going to do it. I'll do whatever I want. And so I said, Lucifer, come forth. And both my friends saw this dark entity, up suddenly appear at the end of the hallway and started advancing towards us. And to them, they saw a figure with, double-breasted suit, fedora, spats. Me, I saw it in its true form. And it came down. I told the demon, says, you're coming with me. And the demon said, no, I'm not. And Lucifer looked at me and said, I know you don't want me to harm the woman, so I will come back for it later. And so we all left, and it was about 3 a.m. and we all woke up in our respective beds, and I heard Lucifer say, it's done. And the next day I called the woman, and she says, I haven't felt like this in 20 years. She says, I feel empty. I'm like, please get help, get some counseling for PTSD, because you have major PTSD after 20 years of demonic stuff. Yeah, you do. So last I knew, she was getting the help she needed.
That's good.
But it's like, I mean, Lucifer's no saint, but he's not as dark as people would have people believe. It's, there is that fine line there. Like I said, there is that respect. I have a friend who lives in Glasgow, and his body holds Hanel the Archangel. And Hanel and Lucifer were great friends long before the war. And Lucifer bears him no malice because he fought for what he believed in. And so he'll go and visit my friend from time to time. And he asked him one time, he says, what do you think? My friend calls me Auntie Ariel. He says, "What do you think of Anti-Ariel?" And Lucifer looked at him and said, "Respect the assassin."
Hmm.
It's like there is that respect, between them.
Wow. Well, I want to open the floor up. Rich and Amy have some questions that they had submitted and I sent to you, but I want to open it up to the other three and see what questions they have before I turn it over to them.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Amy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So my first question is, and you kind of answered it already, but when you died and then came back, did what actually made you want to become a demonologist? Other than I would think you don't just be like, I'm going to start right today. I just died. You know what I mean? Like, did you try to ignore it, or did you think that was weird? I don't know.
Well, I'm not a demonologist. I don't call myself a demonologist. I call myself a demon seer, which is from the old country, from Ireland. My grandmother was from Ireland. And I've run into too many fake ones. So that bothered me when people had said, "Well, why don't you just call yourself a demonologist?" I said, because demonologist is someone who studies demons, and in some cases it has interaction with them, but I deal with them 24/7, and I don't study them. You know, I deal with them. I remove them. I kill them.
Okay.
And it's something that's, I know, it's like, I told God, I said, "Listen, I don't have a manual. Give me a manual on how to do this." And he's like, "You won't need one." He said, "I need to merge your consciousness, your soul, your physical consciousness with the soul consciousness, with Ariel." So he did that for me almost immediately. And so I know where a demon is. I know when it's coming. I know if I get an email, a picture, I know what's there. I know how it got there. I know why it's there and how long it's been there. And it's not something that it just happens. And when I am in a location and I do remove a demon, people say that there are physical manifestations. They see wings coming out of my shoulders. They see, my eyes turn white and my face and voice change. Those are the physical manifestations of her. But I see through her eyes when I do it, and I don't see the physical world as it is with my physical eyes. I see the energy that makes up the person, the place, the thing. I see all of that. That's why I can see demons. A person can be standing in front of me and I can see the demon that's inside. I can see it when it's attached to them on the outside. I can see it in their brain. I can see it in their spine. I see it all. And that enables me to be able to help that person.
Okay. Well, so I have another question then. You kind of answered, two questions in one there. So I'm going to skip right to my third. So do you see weird stuff everywhere, or just when you're looking for stuff? Like, let's say you go to the movies, you know what I mean? Do you see a demon sometimes at the movies? Like,
Yeah, you can't really turn it off.
okay.
It's like, sorry, dogs. It's 24/7. I mean, I see everything. I see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
It's like in the room that I'm in, there's like 30 angelic beings. So it's like I see them all the time. I don't see them one at a time. I see them all the time. And if there's a demon, I can feel it before I see it. And there are times when I know it's coming like up to a year in advance. And I know the name of the demon and I know what it wants. I just put it aside and wait for it to show up.
Okay. Thank you. Um, And okay, so then I have how do you know if a demon has become attached to you, and how do you get rid of it?
Oh, yeah, that's a $64,000 question. Demonic attachments are people think when you have a demon attachment, it's like bam, and it's attached to you, and that's it. That's not the way it works. Demons will find someone, that the creepy crawly dudes, which they used to call imps, I liken them to pimps. They go out and find the victims. They find a likely
Pimp
candidate.
imps.
Yeah. They find a likely candidate and they will watch them. This can last for months, years even. They'll watch the individual, they'll look for their weaknesses, their strengths, what's important to them, and then they will report to their master, which is usually either an old demon or a lesser demon, and they'll let them know, this is what's going on. This person I think is going to be a good candidate. So then the demon itself will watch and they will do the same thing. And they'll learn about their faith, see if they're easily led, easily influenced, what's important to them is their dog, their child, whatever's important to them. And they chalk it up. And then when they decide to attach to you, then is when you start hearing things. You'll hear voices. You'll hear them talk to you. You'll hear growling. They'll enter your dreams. You'll have nightmares all the time. Your health will start to fail. It'll start to decline. They mess with your monetary situation as well. Your relationships, if you've got a husband, boyfriend, whatever, they will try to alienate you from that individual. They'll try to isolate you from any kind of help that you may have. And once they've done that, then, they'll try to make the other person think you're crazy because you hear things and they don't hear things. You'll hear the demon say, it'll brainwash you. Basically, it'll say, you're never going to get away from me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to make your life a living hell. I'm going to kill your dog or your child. I'm going to, God doesn't hear you. He won't have anything to do with you. He's just left you and you'll never see him. He's not going to help you at all. They hear this day in, day out. And after a while, it's just like Chinese water torture, so to speak. It's never ending. I mean, these people go through this day in and day out, and it will prevent them from seeking help. They can, like say you want to get online and see who you can find to help you, and it will mess up your internet. It'll make you not be able to find anybody to help you. It will, if you get somebody, time and again, I've heard where somebody finds a priest that will help them. And the priest is all for it. They're making their way over and something will happen to the priest. Car accident, heart attack, you name it, so that they don't get help. And they don't want you to get that help. They want to torture you until you die.
That is intense. I'm like, this is just so much to unpack in this episode. So I'm really excited for our listeners to be hearing this. Rich, before you go, do you mind if I open it up to Brian, Rob, and Jenny to see if they have any questions?
Yeah, go
Because I
ahead. I
feel like,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
your
I've got,
questions are
Oh,
really great
puppy,
closing.
baby.
oh, yeah. He's sleeping.
Oh, baby.
I do have a question. You talked quite a bit about faith, and I know that you have your purpose and you have your job, I guess you could say, your role that you're playing in all of this. But do you consider yourself a Christian, and what do you think about the current church? The standard folks are going to church every Sunday.
I mean, yeah, I'm a Christian. You can't do anything without God. I mean, he's the cornerstone. But it doesn't matter whether you're a Buddhist or whether you're Jewish or whether you're Christian or whatever you are, a Muslim. It's all about the faith that you have in that person, that deity, that object. That's the main thing right there. You have to have the faith in whatever it is, whether it's the Star of David or whether it's a crucifix. It doesn't make any difference. Religion is man-made. God didn't make it. He's like, we talk a lot. He's like, it's man's way of putting a square peg in a round hole. He says he says, I prefer for people to be spiritual. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good to me. I like that. You don't have to be Catholic. You don't have to be, Protestant. You don't have to be, Jewish. You don't have to be Buddhist, Taoism, anything. It's all about that faith in whatever deity that you believe in. And nobody can take that from you, not even the bad guys.
And you feel that faith that you have, the stronger the faith, the less prone or weakness that you might have for demons. They may sway away from you because of your faith and your strength in that. Is that
A
how
lot
you?
of times they will try, a lot of times they'll target somebody who has strong faith because it's like a feather in their cap. If they can get there, turn that person to the dark side, so to speak. Sound like Star Wars, but basically that's it. And you can't, to do what I do to remove demons. Actually, I kill them, but when I kill them, I'm in a different realm of existence, in the same realm that they deal with. And it's something that you know I just know how to do it. I do it, and it's not. Do I think it's fun? No. I have no. I cannot have any doubt in my faith, in what I'm doing, or in the fact that I can do it. If you have doubt in any of those ways, you're screwed, because you're not going to get anywhere. Because the demons, what they do is they reach into your mind and they find your doubts, they find your strengths, your weaknesses, your faith, and they'll use your doubts against you. And it's like going uphill and sliding back down every time you turn around. It's not a good thing. You cannot have any doubts. People ask me, well, aren't you afraid of them? I'm like, no. Why should I be? I mean, I have an angelic soul, so they don't want to be anywhere that I am. One of the good things is she resides within me, so she stays within. Demons are like some people; they don't look any farther than the surface. So when I encounter them, they think I'm just a stupid human. It's a shocking experience for them, for her to come forward, because they know they're screwed. They fear her because she's one of the elite demon slayers. Before the war between heaven and hell, God had created the Legion of Light, which is comprised of Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Ariel. They are the ones who train the warrior angels. They train the other archangels in the art of demon slaying. You cannot be a warrior angel without having absolute faith and absolute, you just, everything. God is everything to you, because they will turn down an angel who does not have absolute faith.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
We hear a lot sometimes about possession stories or people that have some sort of a demon encounter, and some of those get chalked up to schizophrenia. Do
Uh-huh.
you ever run into that when you get calls from people for help, or are you able to filter that out before?
Yeah, I do run into that. I can filter it out. The difference is, because of what resides within me, I know the minute I get the phone call or the message or the picture, whether this is truly mental illness or whether there's truly a demon. And sometimes it's both, because demons are attracted by people with mental illness, as well as people that have suffered abusive relationships or upbringing, or in a current abusive relationship, or are dealing with substance abuse issues. All these things attract them because it makes the person weak and they can slide on in.
Very interesting.
I have just a couple. Um, I have a couple. The first question I have for you, June. You've written several books, including a couple books for kids or geared towards kids. Do you have any new books in the works?
I have two. One of
Okay.
them is called The Angel Primer.
Okay.
Right now, there are over 300,000 warrior angels in physical form, and there are over 3 billion of them in spiritual form roaming the earth. And not most warrior angels when angels reincarnate as physical, 9 times out of 10, they don't know who and what they are. So they have a hard time figuring it out. And they don't know, what they can do to protect themselves. They don't know what their angel's name is. They don't know that even that it's an angel that is, that's giving them all this, this power, this information. So the book is all about, helping the angels, whether it be warrior or archangel, to understand who and what they are, what powers that they have, how to protect themselves, how to create swords, of light, how to create infinity orbs, protection, how to create like white light force fields. It's all about giving them the information that they need in order for them to protect themselves and to live in the physical world and not be attacked by the demons. A lot of times, the demon, if they know that this person has an angelic soul, they will suppress it, trying to keep it from coming forward, because once it comes forward, it's dangerous. It's a threat to them. I've seen that more often than not. And I've helped over 3,000 warrior angels in the last 3 years find out who they are. And I always know their name. I get their name and I tell them, you have to write down the name, because the name is power for the warrior angels. I, on the other hand, was born knowing what I was, but not who I was. That's unusual. So it's because of what Ariel does and, her role in this lifetime.
Interesting. My next question, when dealing with the demons and the angels that you are able to deal with, which ones do you find to be the most honest of what they tell you? Because I got to imagine they're directing you, or they're telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I don't know. I'm just curious. Do you find that, does anyone kind of lead you the wrong way sometimes?
The thing is, nobody leads me. It's like except Ariel. She knows, what's coming, what to do, what the name of the demon is. And so they really don't tell me what to do, but they will like send somebody who needs help to me. But yeah, demons are like used car salesmen. If their lips are moving, they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Although in my interactions with Lucifer, I will say that he is upfront with me. And probably the only reason for that is because he knows Ariel can take him out. So there you go.
Sure. Yeah. Keep your enemies close, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. No more questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot about Ariel, and I'm just curious, is she specifically connected with you, or is she connected with many people, and it's a collective effort?
My soul, my body was created to hold her soul. So she has 1 foot in the physical and 1 foot on the other side. So I can blink and be on the other side, and blink and be back. One of the things I learned on the other side was that thought becomes reality, whether in the dark realm or the light realm. And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it the power that it needs to do what it has to do. So I work in conjunction with the Legion of Light, because Ariel is a part of the Legion of Light. So I work with Gabe, Raphael, and Michael a lot. Michael and Ariel are soulmates. So they are a couple, basically. And they have 2 children from when they were physical, long, long ago. And both children are in the physical world right now. And I know where they both are. There are only 7 archangels in the world today, and I know them all.
And but you also, so then you said that there's a plethora of warrior angels in
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
And so whereas like Ariel is assigned to you, then there's other archangels and other like helper
Physical,
warrior
yeah,
angels that are
yeah.
in physical form.
Right.
I'm not sure if any one of us want to know if we have demons attached to us, but would you, I mean, I don't know if anybody be open, like, do you sense if any of us have
No, there's nothing there.
warrior angels or
Well,
anything?
there's no demons. Warrior angels, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
tell us?
Ooh.
Well, you
I,
just keep
I,
poking, don't you?
I will tell you they're there, but you'll have to email me for the name
Okay.
because the name is power, and
Okay.
I don't want it out there for all and sundry.
I will set up an email with the whole team on it and send it over, and I'll list everybody's names because obviously Brian is not really named Spirit Box 3000 and
What? How can you
Jenny
say that?
Rob is not really named Chaos Monger, but
Well, Rick and Jenny are really Lord and
What?
Lady.
That's no fun.
Lord and Lady
We
Finkel
really
is
are
true.
Lord and Lady because we bought like I don't know, what is it, a 4-foot plot somewhere?
In Scotland.
In Scotland.
Yeah.
Our ears perked up though whenever you were talking about Ireland and Glasgow, because we actually as a team are getting ready to go to Ireland at the end of February. We're going to stay there for about 10, 11 days. We'll be in Ireland and then we're going to head over to Glasgow and go through the Highlands. So
well, I've been to. A year ago was the last time I was in England. I go quite often, but Glasgow is nice. Edinburgh, though, is really nice. It's the Rosalind Chapel is there. You know, the underground, which people seem to think that it's really haunted and everything. I'm like, okay, fine, it's okay. It's not. There's nothing. I mean, it's there's a couple of spirits that hang out down there on a regular basis and stuff. But it's Glasgow's really nice. Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
Well, this has been incredibly enlightening as far as just like hearing somebody else's story and hearing their perspective on it. I mean, regardless of belief system and regardless of
Right.
anybody believes, like we as paranormal investigators have to keep an open mind to
Yeah.
anything and everything because there's some very magical things we want to believe in. And so who are we to say that this doesn't really exist? I mean, and who really is anybody to say?
Exactly. It's
You
like my
are
grandmother who raised me said, she said, she quoted Shakespeare and she said, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. He told me always keep an open mind. And because demons evolve and angels evolve, you have to be on your A game constantly because the demons are constantly finding new ways to get at people. And like I said, they reach into your mind. That's why no two people will see a demon the same, because they reach into your mind and they pull out the image that you have of what they should look like. And so they show themselves as that, but they amplify it 100-fold.
right.
Their whole goal is to elicit fear.
And I think that regardless of whether you even have a belief system or not, that we can take all of these words and all of these things that we said and translate them into different ways that would be
Oh yeah.
meaningful to people in other belief systems or no belief systems.
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
husband's agnostic. He believes
yes.
in a higher power, but he doesn't give it a name. But it's like he said, I've seen things since I've been married to you that I never want to see again. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's welcome to my world.
And just as demons meant different things to different people throughout
Right.
the ages and different religions, they can mean something different to somebody who doesn't believe in God or does not have
Yeah.
any belief that there's
Yeah.
anything after this,
Yeah.
because even just challenges or difficult times,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, could be equated to like,
What gets
again,
me is the ones that summon demons and then want me to help them to get rid of it. Like that,
dummies.
there's nothing that'll make me madder than somebody who summons a demon. And I had one case where the woman summoned a demon. She had two little kids and it was attacking the kids. Let me think about that. What do you want?
Yep.
Well,
Understand.
so I guess I just I don't know if I had any other questions. I did want to give you a chance to tell us about anything that you have coming up in the future. You talked about the books you're working on. Do you have anything else in the works
Well,
for
in
yourself?
March, the third weekend of March, I'm going to be lecturing at the Oregon Ghost Conference. It's one of the biggest ones on the West Coast here. And so I'll be lecturing there and teaching a class. So it's the 20th, the weekend of the 20th. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they have a lot of vendors there. They have a lot of speakers, classes, things like that. I did get contacted by Paranormal TV, and so I'm going to be doing a interview on there.
Very cool.
But there's a lot of different things coming up. It's the time of the year, spooky time,
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of anybody who knows anything about spooky, which is why we spend so much time recording for our October. Brian coined it Scaretober, so we do lots of extra stuff during the month of October.
The creepier the better,
Yeah, exactly. So we love it. Does anybody have any comments, questions, concerns they want to bring up?
I just have a quick question. You were saying you teach classes at a conference coming up. Do you ever have any religious leaders coming to take your classes or anything like that?
I do from time to time. I do, and I have ones that will contact me, like Father Ron Fael. He is the Archbishop of the Order of St. Michael of Exorcists. We're buddies.
Okay.
Very cool.
I'm just I'm very thankful that you're here. It's been really interesting to listen to your thoughts and your story and what you are involved in. I really appreciate your time.
I try to help everybody I can, and I'm one of those people that it's like one of my pet peeves is for people to charge for demonic removals. That's God's work. You don't do that stuff and knock that stuff off.
Yeah, we don't charge for investigations, and we don't charge for anything that we do because it's not. That's not what it's meant.
Yeah, it's not what it's about. It's about helping mankind. It's about helping the individual person. And that's why when somebody asks me how much it costs, I tell them, well, the cost is you helping somebody.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah, right. Well, we are actually involved in putting on a first annual paranormal conference or convention here in our area. That's coming up November 2nd of this year. We're starting small but mighty. We're gonna just see how it goes this year, and hopefully it's something we will be involved in every year. And maybe we'll be to the degree that we can invite you out one of these times to speak at our Paracon.
Yeah, that would be cool. I went to one in Las Cruces, New Mexico a few years ago. It was their very first one. Yeah, it was
very cool.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we have we have a bit of a lineup, and so we'll see how it goes this year, and we definitely want to build on it every year. But June, I think I can speak for the whole team. Thank you so much for coming on and being vulnerable.
Thank you
and
very much.
sharing your story and giving us your knowledge, because it's not always easy to talk about things that other people might scoff at or not understand. So it takes really a lot of confidence and thick skin, and just like you said, you have to believe in what you do.
Yeah, it's like I've had people say, well, I had a local group saying, well, you're arrogant. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I know what I can do, and you're the one who calls me when you need the help, so don't call me arrogant.
I guess that's true. But I mean, you've served our country, you've served our sick, you've helped other people that have been in need without charging them. So thank you so much for all the service that you've given to our country, to mankind, and just for being here with us today. So
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to you all.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Well, so you guys, stay tuned. We got a couple more episodes coming to you for Scaretober. Then we'll be heading into our normal programming for the rest of the year. And we'll be talking a little bit more about our Ireland trip. But if you are in the area of Southeast Wisconsin or Northeast Illinois, I mean, you can come from wherever, but we're going to have our first ever paranormal conference in this area, in the Racine Wisconsin area. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. It'll be November 2nd, and it's going to be at 1300 Sheridan Road, Old Cortese's Ballroom, which has a hint of mafia interaction there. And we have, it is now owned by the Danish Brotherhood of Kenosha, and they have offered us their space. So we have a great lineup of speakers and vendors and special appearances by a couple people. So it's going to be a good time. Tickets are pre-sale right now, $10, $15 at the door. I just wanted to plug that because we're getting really close to the date. By the time this airs, it'll be really, really close to the date of the conference. So head over to our Facebook page or look up Bell City Paracon. So June, thank you again. And with that, ciao, everybody.
Peace out. Bye.
Thank you.